Hello and welcome back. In this video I'm going to show you how to produce your own calendar using the templates provided for download on the Phototutor website. So let's have a look at how we put this together. You will have needed to firstly downloaded the templates and extracted them into a folder on your computer. And there are two sizes. There is an A3 size and an A4 size, and they are slightly different, but for this exercise we'll work on using the A3 size template. So once you've extracted the templates from the zip file, let's open the January one and let's get started. So when you open the file, it is a compressed TIFF file and it's already sized and at the correct DPI for printing on an Epson printer at 360 pixels per inch, and basically it's all set up ready for you to go. There are some guides provided for positioning of your photograph on the template, and there is space there for text for you to add text as you will want to do, perhaps to title your images. So with the template open, you'll need to go and find a suitable photograph to add to the calendar. So I've got one open here which I've prepared previously, and this one has been saved with all of the layers intact. Now to use it for this photograph, you'll need firstly to flatten all layers and bring it across into the calendar template. So firstly go to Layer, Flatten Image, and you'll find that now your image is a single layer. And then using the Move tool, which is found at the top of the toolbar panel, click on the image and hold down your left mouse button. Do not let go. Move your mouse up to the heading that says A3 Template January. Move it over and then just release on the template. And the first thing you'll see is that the image is probably way too big for the template that we have. So that's fine. What we're going to do then is resize that image, and we go to Control T or Image Transform and Resize, and what we'll just do is resize this image so it fits within these lines that we've provided, and these are set up for a 3x2 image. If your image is a different format, you don't need to use these lines. Obviously there is a little bit of space at the top there to allow for binding, and as we'll show you when we get to printing, there's a little bit of a border allowed for around the entire image. So if you want to be really precise, you can zoom in and then move your image around and just modify that sizing to suit, and it doesn't have to be super precise because each page is going to be different anyway. So with your image sized and positioned on the page, the next thing you will want to do is to add your text for the title under the image. So I've provided this text already. All you need to do is go to the text layer, double click on the T symbol in the text box, and you'll see that the text is now highlighted, and then you just simply type in your heading or your title of the image. Ice and birds with the correct spelling is always helpful. Svalbard, and if you want to put your name on it, why not? And then once you're done, just simply click on the Move tool again to lock that in. And now I have justified this to the right hand side of the page, but you can simply move that around by just clicking and dragging with the Move tool and position it wherever you want on the image. And that's pretty much as simple as it gets. This is now ready for printing, and if you've followed my printing workshop video, you will know that what we need to do is to flatten this image. And if you want to save this in case you want to rework it again, I suggest what you do is save it at this point. So we would go to File, Save As, and because it was originally a compressed TIFF file, you can either save it as a TIFF or a Photoshop file. Either one is fine. Let's just call this New. Save that, and then when you have the TIFF options opened up, what we would do is say no compression now, because if we compress the image again, we may lose some detail in our image, and because it's going to be on your computer, it doesn't need to be a small image. Simply go click OK, and then prior to printing we would simply then flatten this image. It's already at the correct size and pixels per inch for printing, and then we would simply apply our output sharpening, and that's covered in our printing video. I have these set up as an action. If I was going to print this on matte black paper using the matte black ink set, I would just simply run the action and do the two-step sharpening that we need for printing onto an inkjet printer. If your printer is a Canon printer, you would need to do a bit of resampling down to 300 pixels per inch before printing to get the optimum quality. Now, with all of that adjustments made, we can simply then go to File, Print, and I've previously saved this with the settings. Hopefully, no, I haven't. So we would go into our print settings and choose the right sort of paper and so forth. Let's say we're going to print that on rag photo, and you'll see here that there's a border inbuilt into this template so that you're not printing right to the edge of the paper, and that there is a slightly larger border at the top to allow for binding or any other method of hanging this on your wall. And you'll see then that your text, even though it's on the edge of the image, is still well within the confines of the paper. And then all you would need to do is carry on and print. So that's pretty simple. I'll show you in the next little clip how to do the same thing on A4. Now lastly, let's just have a quick look at the A4 template, because it's pretty much the same as the A3 with just a few small differences. So I've opened up the A4 template. As you'll see that it actually uses a slightly different calendar format. And I'd like at this stage to thank Red Photographics for providing these templates. If you'd like to go and check out their website, I'll provide a link in this video, and these are provided free by him, and thank you very much for that. And so what we've got here is this calendar format has the text in the middle, so I've put the text for this one in the center, but again you can change that. So we previously used the photograph that I flattened for the A3 template. Let's just move that onto the A4 template, and obviously it's going to be even smaller. We just release that and we realize it's way too big, so we go to Control T or Option T, I think it is on a Mac, and just transform that to resize it to the size you want. And if you're using something like a Micro Four Thirds camera, your format will be slightly different, but there's still enough space to fit that image in there, and you can even do a little bit of resizing or cropping if you need to. So simply again, we're just going to position that, and if you want to get it exactly in position, you can see that then if I drag that down, we pick up the automatic centering line in Photoshop. And of course those guidelines that I've provided are not visible when you print, so these are just purely there to help you lay out your image. It looks like I've made a bit of a hash of this, so let's just fix that up. Hit enter or hit the tick button at the top there to lock those in. And it doesn't really matter the order of these layers because they're quite in different places anyway. So again, add our text. What was it? Birds and ice, or ice and birds, it doesn't really matter. And if you want to put a location in or whatever, you can even put the ISO, lens settings and all that other stuff if you really want to, but it depends on who's going to receive this calendar. And again, because this is centered, it doesn't matter how long the text gets, it will always stay centered. So if I just add a lot of random text, you'll see that it still stays in the center. And if I want to get rid of that, I just backspace and get rid of what I don't want, and select the move tool. You can then drag it around and do whatever you want. And then printing is exactly the same as we did for A3. Don't forget to save this before you go to print in case you need to go back and reprint it. The idea of these templates is probably just for your own personal use, because if you're going to print these on high quality art paper, it will get a little bit expensive if you're planning on giving them to your friends and family. But if you use a cheaper paper, you may be able to do it a lot more economically. And of course, you can always take it to somewhere like Officeworks to have the binding done at the top of the page. So here we have a couple of examples straight off the printer. The A3 page, as you can see, has a fine border around the top
and sides, with a little bit of extra space there for binding, or if you wanted to, you could just simply punch a hole through there and hang it on a hook. The smaller print, similar arrangement, slightly wider border at the top and space around to give it a little bit of breathing space. Using the correct printer settings, you will get an absolutely first-class print, of course assuming you're printing on high quality printing paper, that is. If you're using a cheaper paper, the quality won't be quite as good, but still probably quite acceptable if you're wanting to give this away to family or friends. So have a go, give the calendar idea a go, and good luck with it, and I look forward to seeing you soon.